Hello dear students. In last lecture we have discussed about the basic definition and basic concepts and different scope and relevance of microbiology and how microbiology is developed as a scientific discipline. In this lecture we will discuss about in previous lecture we have discussed about the contribution of different microbiologists. He proved or they given a direct or indirect evidence about presence of microorganisms everywhere in the environment. And now we have to discuss about the different theories which are based on the presence or involvement of microorganisms in different diseases. So in this lecture we will discuss about the recognition of role of microorganism in diseases, and in other words it is also called as germ theory of disease. How the microbes are involved or responsible for the causing infection to a particular host. Fracastoro Verona, a scientist, and few of his colleagues had suggested that invisible organism might be responsible for disease. Most people believe that disease were caused due to supernatural forces, poisonous vapors, or imbalance between the four humor thought to be present in the body. Basically, people of ancient time didn't know about how the disease is caused to a particular human being, or we can say animal, or particular host. They believe that sometimes, or some people believe that they are caused due to the different types of microorganisms. Again, few people believe that these diseases are caused due to the supernatural power which is present in the environment. Poisonous vapors, they say that as a miasmas, or most important part of our body, that is they call humus. If they imbalance between the four humors, so they believe that disease may be due to these different factors, due to poisonous vapors, supernatural forces, or imbalance between four humor. And then four humors are nothing but a blood, pitta, sputum, or nervousness or depression. What they said is based on their observation. Normally, if a person is suffering from some type of sort of infection, so he normally experience a change in the platelet component, or we can say blood component. He experiences congestion in chest, that means resulting in the sputum. Sometimes pitta or polar changes in the pitta, or sometimes he experiences a depression or nervousness. So on the basis of his observation or their observation, they believe that disease can be caused due to these different factors which are present in the environment. So to support the germ theory of disease, different scientists carried out their work, or to clear this controversy or misconception about disease. Agostino Bisi, he showed microorganism could cause a disease by demonstrating that a silkworm disease was due to the fungus infection. In this period, Agostino Bisi is nothing but a scientist, you can say, or he is working in the microbiology field. So he proved or gave a hard proof about the silkworm. It is nothing but a worm, shown in the figure, having a disease, and that disease is caused due to the fungus infection. By demonstrating that, he proved that disease of silkworm is caused due to the fungus. Later on, he also suggested that many diseases, apart from silkworm disease, many diseases were due to the microbial infections. Apart from that, he also said silkworm disease is caused by the fungus infection, and other infections are also caused due to the different microorganisms or different pathogens which are present in the environment or in the body of host. Later on, Berentley in 1845 proved that great potato blight of Ireland and was caused by the fungus. In this figure, we can see how the disease of potato can be figured out or demonstrated, and it is nothing but disease caused by the fungus. So he Bernanke again give another proof about infection of microorganisms. Then Louis Pasteur, while working or carried out his work on silkworm disease, and the disease is puberine disease of silkworm, and he showed that it was due to the protozoan or protozoan parasite. So Louis Pasteur again give another evidence about the puberine disease of silkworm is caused due to the protozoa. So it is again another evidence that microorganisms are involved in the disease. Then same time Joseph Lister, he is nothing but a surgeon, and while performing his surgery after operation, he found that many patients are suffering from a different types of infection or that recurrence of infection, and he given a indirect evidence of germ theory of disease. English surgeon Joseph Lister, he developed a system of antiseptic surgery designed to prevent microorganisms from entering in womb. While performing the operation or surgery, he carried out his normal routine procedure, but after that he found that the patient instruments were heat sterilized and phenol was used on surgical dressing and at a time sprayed over the surgical area. So he carried out his experiment. He sprayed phenol on the surface of the operation table. He heat sterilized different instruments which are used in the OT, or we can say in the operation theatre. He also used phenol for dressing the wound, or he sprayed the phenol in the air to minimize or to sterilize that particular environment to avoid infection in that particular wound or surgery. So he found that the remarkable successful in this procedure, and he also provides strong indirect evidence for role of microorganisms in disease, because phenol which kill bacteria also prevent wound infection. He normally carried out his procedure, and the result of this procedure, he found that different infections which are caused after surgery are significantly minimized, and that operation are done successfully. That patient recover very easily, or he never experience another sort of infection. So it is nothing but indirect evidence of germ theory of disease. That means he didn't know what type or what causes this infection, but indirectly he proved that some sort of or some particles are present in the environment which may enter into that particular OT or surgery, and they cause infection to that particular patient, so that the patient experiences another type of infection, or that wound again get worse. So that's why it is nothing but indirect evidence to germ theory of disease. Later on, Robert Koch in 1843, he given a direct evidence to germ theory of disease. The first direct evidence of role of bacteria in causing disease came from the study of anthrax disease by the German physician Robert Koch. While studying the relation between Bacillus anthracis, it is caused by it caused disease anthrax disease, and that anthrax disease is caused to the cattle, sheep, and sometimes human being. So he found that disease may be transferred from cattle, sheep to the milkman or the human. So to perform these experiments, he carried out some sort of infection. So he collected the sample from that pustules, or we can say the anthrax bacilli, and they injected into the healthy mice. Robert Koch collected that particular sample and injected into healthy mice. That mice become ill, or he experiences symptoms from that particular infection. Later on, he collected the spleen of that mice, and it is incubated in the serum. Spleen, it is nothing but a part of immune system, and he collected the spleen from that infected mice and incubated that spleen in a serum sample. The bacilli again recover or grew on that medium, reproduce and produce same type of spores or same types of infections. When the isolated spores were injected into healthy mice, again same type of infection he observed. So it is nothing but a direct evidence about germ theory of disease. That means microorganisms or specific type of organism is responsible or present in every case of infection. So on the basis of his observation, he given some rules, or he prepared some postulates, and now we can say it is nothing but a post postulate about germ theory of disease. So he given a specific organism can always be present or found in association with a given disease. So he state that a specific type of organism is always present in case of a specific type of infection. The specific organism can be isolated and grow in pure culture in laboratory. That specific organism which is responsible to cause a infection is isolated and can be grown in pure form in laboratory. The pure culture must produce the same type of disease when inoculated into a susceptible healthy host. That laboratory grown culture, if we inject that particular culture into a healthy susceptible host, it produces same type of infection to the second host organism, and the same microorganism must be isolated again from the inoculated disease host, and same type of organism can be isolated from the second host. That's why that disease caused to the secondary host is due to the organism which is isolated from a first host, and it produces similar type of infection to the susceptible host. So these are nothing but a post postulate. It says nothing but a specific organism is always responsible for a specific infection. That organism can be isolated and reproduced in laboratory level. That organism produces similar type of infection if injected to a healthy host, and again that can be isolated in pure form from the second host. Apart from post postulate, they have some limitations too. In case of viruses, they are not 100% true. So, or in that case, they didn't have any technique to grow viruses in laboratory level. So, the third postulate of post postulate, which state that it should exhibit disease, not must. This is nothing but a this is because a symptomatic carrier immunity and genetic resistance are possible. So this is nothing but a limitations of post postulates. Post postulate do not account for prion diseases and other agents that cannot be grown in a culture. In case of prion or virion, this post postulate can be 100% implemented, cannot be implemented. Most of the human bacterial pathogens satisfy post postulate exception for Mycobacterium leprae and Treponema pallidum. These are the positive agent of leprosy and syphilis disease. They cause leprosy and syphilis. Both these bacteria are yet to be grown in cell-free culture. So, apart from the post postulate, they have some limitations too. So, it is nothing but about a germ theory of disease and contribution, direct and indirect evidence of germ theory of disease. Indirect evidence for germ theory are given by the Joseph Lister. Hence, they are considered to be a father of antiseptic surgery. Robert Koch given a direct evidence with respect to the anthrax bacillus. So, it is nothing but a germ theory of disease.